Begin flat on your back in a relaxed position. Bring a bend to the knees, putting soles of the feet on the ground, preparing for a dynamic version of our bridge pose here. Arms relaxed at your side. As you inhale and lift hips, hands go up. Exhale, resting down overhead. Inhale, arms coming back up to the sky, and on the exhale, both hands and hips back to the ground. And that's your little sequence here. Inhaling, hips and hands up. Exhaling, down, hips staying up as the arms go down. Inhale, arms come back up, and then hips and hands back to the ground. See if you can make it a fluid motion. So as we inhale and transition to exhale, one fluid motion, just like your breath, no hiccup at the top of the inhale or bottom of the exhale. Move through this just one more time. And releasing back to the ground one final time. So we're going to continue to warm up this back and gain range of motion. Legs falling over to the left on the exhale, inhaling up to center. Exhale down to the right. Arms can go wherever you're comfortable at your side, out to a T. Each exhale, twisting just a little bit deeper to the side, and inhaling back up through center. A lot of low back work today, so we want to make sure that we've spent a little bit of time focusing on mobility here at the beginning. Just a couple more rounds of the breath, and then we'll rest back at center. Squeeze those shins, give those knees a little tug, pulling them in. You can rock back and forth, massage your low back into the mat if that works for you. And when you're ready, roll off onto one side and push back into downward facing dog. Toes tuck, hips lead the way. You can pedal this one out, just bringing a gentle bend to knees and ankles. We're going to also focus on hamstring flexibility here, and this is the beginning of it. When you're feeling good there, we're going to step all the way up to the front of the mat and begin to get into a little bit hardier work on the low back. So arms will reach up overhead, sinking down into our chair pose once you've found your way. From here, we're going to move with the breath once again. So it's an exhale, folding forward, completely releasing at the bottom. Arms and chin hang heavy. Inhale, hinging back up, but staying with knees bent. Exhale, fold and release. Inhale, coming back up. Real straight, flat back, as you can see here in the video. Range of motion is up to you. If you want to sink deeper in the squat to get a little bit more leg work going on, you're more than welcome to do that. Otherwise, the squat is certainly secondary to the low back work here. Again, extending and releasing completely at the bottom. Next exhale here, number 5, we're just going to stay down at the bottom, let the arms hang, straighten your legs, get once again a little deeper hamstring stretch. Cradle the arms, work back and forth side to side before releasing, and stepping your left foot back. We're getting into Warrior 2 position here, Warrior 2 feet anyway. So spinning up into Warrior 2, front leg straightens, working into triangle. Progression here. On an inhale, you're going to extend forward, reaching towards the front of the mat. Exhale, we release, opening up. Inhale, that bottom arm comes up to parallel with the mat first, continuing with that inhale, coming back up to your start. That's your vinyasa. Once again, we inhale, extend all the way forward, lengthening that right side body. Exhale, we hinge into triangle pose. Inhale, bottom arm comes up first, strong side body action, finishing that inhale, coming back up. Move through this a couple more times at your own pace. Strengthening that side body, the QL, a lot of the things that keep us happy in the saddle, prevent you from bouncing side to side as you get into higher cadence and harder work. You can see here on the inhale getting slower and slower, so the more we're doing this, the slower it is we're coming up. So on the third version here, a full 6 counts coming up. Right toe comes in, feet parallel, and we're going to do a wide leg forward fold. Hands can be released onto the mat. Release the head as well. Let that chin tuck into the chest. Just let the head hang heavy. Good. Finishing up with that deep stretch of the hamstring. We're going to be pivoting to the left. Now left foot forward, right foot back as we find our Warrior Two stance once again, spinning into it or getting into it, whichever way is easiest for you. Good. Front leg straightens, perhaps a little micro bend in the left knee, but otherwise it's the same progression. Inhale, reaching forward, exhale, fold. Inhale, left arm comes to parallel with the mat before we lift back up to straight. Good. Repeating again, and we'll focus more on that slower inhale coming up. We're here on our second progression. Now a full 4 counts to inhale all the way up. Third time through, 6 count inhale coming up. And last time through, perhaps taking a full 8 counts coming up almost in slow motion as you work the side body. Right, we're going to spin around, reorient to the front of our mat here. And just take a step forward. Find yourself in mountain pose. And just take a couple of breaths to adjust. Good. From here, arms up overhead, sinking back down. We are finding chair pose once again. We're moving with the breath. Exhale, we're going to fold forward again, releasing. Inhale, flat back, very flat back leading the way up. And exhale, we're just going to release those arms and come up to standing. That is your new chair progression. So inhale, arms up as we sink down, knees over ankles, not over toes. Exhale, fold, head completely releases. Inhale, arms up, flat back leading the way. Exhale, arms back to the side. Inhale, arms reaching up, sinking back down into it. Exhale, fold and completely release. Moving through just a couple more of these on your own. Every movement linked to the breath. One more here, reaching up. Exhale, folding. This time, hands are going to come down. Grab the big toe. Straighten those legs. And use the leverage to get a little deeper hamstring stretch. Now we're going to move with our breath. Just to deepen the hamstring stretch, you're going to inhale, lift up, exhale, fold. Hands are wherever they need to be. Could be on your shin, could be on your knees. It's whatever works for you. Key point here is we're going to grossly exaggerate the movement of the head so that on the exhale the chin really tucks in. On the inhale we're looking up all the way across the room towards the horizon. Exhale, folding, really rounding that back. So head movement here is the most important piece. Perhaps even feeling a slight tug on the fascia running all the way from the base of your spine to the tailbone as you fold forward and tuck the chin. And from here, coming all the way back up on the next inhale, left foot steps back. Not full warrior two stance here. We're looking at a pyramid pose, so perhaps a shorter stance than you were before. Folding forward over that right leg. On the inhale, you're coming up, a strong scap depression, arms somewhere between goalposts and airplane arms. Play with it, work with whatever fits your body. But we're working a little more mid-back here. We're lifting up, and you're going to have to engage some low back, but the most important part here is squeezing those shoulder blades in. Good, and back up to standing. From here, we're simply switching the stance, left foot forward, right foot back. Not a lot of leg action going on with this movement, but more than anything, we're just giving you a chance to regroup in between, like 2 sets of a strength training session in the gym. So we're folding forward again over that front foot. Take a shorter stance if you need it, take a wider stance if you need the stability. And it's the inhale, squeezing those shoulder blades together, mid-back doing the work. Exhale, folding and rounding once again. Inhale, scap squeeze together. So work with your own breath on a couple more. Back up to center, and we're going to turn around and make your way to the front of the mat once again and finding that same stance. So right foot forward, left foot back, pyramid stance as opposed to warrior two. Left hip draws forward, right hip back as we extend left arm overhead, right arm on your hip or low back, folding forward over that front leg. You can keep a little micro bend in the front leg. So you're getting a deep hamstring stretch, but once again we're working the low back as we inhale up with flat back. And 2 movement sequence. It's the exhale, fold, and release at the bottom. Head hangs heavy, arm relaxes. Inhale, completely flat back leading the way up. That was the second one. On this third one, see if you can extend that inhale, full 6 count breath coming up. Nice and slow. Exhale, fold, normal exhale, 2 count exhale. And our last one, inhaling up almost in slow motion, full 8 counts, going from the bottom all the way up to the top. Right hand joining it. Good. We're going to bring that back strength and hamstring flexibility together. Tiptoe that left foot forward, strong base on that right foot, spread the toes nice and wide, reaching those arms forward. Back foot comes up and you are extending in warrior three. Straight line, fingertips all the way to heels. Tuck that head a little bit more than we're demonstrating in the video. Eyes down at the mat beneath. And you're holding nice and strong. And release out of it when you need to. Good. Step to the front of the mat. Just a couple of breaths here in mountain before we repeat on the opposite side. All right, right foot steps back again, not the full warrior two, but pyramid stance, micro bend in that left knee, this time left hand, On the left hip, right foot folds forward and release. First inhale coming up, just a regular 2-count inhale. Make sure right hip draws forward, left hip back, and you're not opening up as you fold forward. Second time up, slowing it down just a little bit, 4 counts to come up. And exhale, folding and releasing at the bottom. Third time up, 6-count inhale. Same 2-count exhale to fold forward. And the last one, really slow, coming up, a full 8-count, really deep inhale, drawn into your belly. Left hand joins the right overhead as you once again root down in that left foot, spread the toes nice and wide. Strong base to work out of as you shift the weight forward. Right foot tips forward and eventually lifting off the mat, trying to find horizontal. Seeing if you can bring that torso down nice and low. There we go. Heel lifting. And releasing out as needed. Good. Hands relax, can fold down to the mat in front of you. Left foot lifts up, pushes back. You're in down dog once again here, pedaling out just a little bit if you need to. And then stepping forward, right foot between the hands, low lunge, left knee releases, top of that back foot releases to the mat. You can bring your right hand inside the knee if that helps support as you begin to bend that left knee back. We're going to get a little quad stretch here. Much bigger fan of stretching the quads than working the quads in yoga. Key to this one is either having a really cush mat or tipping your weight forward enough so that you're never on the kneecap, but the weight resides just above the kneecap. So the pressure between the mat and your left leg is above the kneecap, not on it. Keep pulling, get a little quad stretch there, and releasing out. Hands go back to neutral on the outside of the right leg, rear toes tuck, straight back leg, pushing back, down dog is your transition. Stepping forward, left foot this time, coming up in between the hands, back knee, top of the right foot releasing to the mat. This time left arm comes inside that left leg for stability, and you're reaching back with the right hand, grabbing the top of that right foot. Weight shifts forward, so pressure is once again above and not on the kneecap, and you're just getting a really deep hip flexor and quad stretch on the right side. And releasing the rear foot, left arm back to the outside of the left leg, strong back leg as the knee lifts, pushing back into down dog. Shift the weight forward, top of a push-up, lowering down chaturanga, but go all the way down to the mat. Good. Keen in on a little bit more low back here on the mat. You're going to zip those legs up, so inside of your legs, calves, the balls on the inside of your ankles touching. And on the inhale, you're lifting those toes off the ground, chest coming up off the mat. On the inhale, exhale, and release. Next inhale, coming up. We're going to do it for one full breath cycle, so you're going to not release until the second exhale. Coming back down again. Third time around, we're going to inhale up again, chest lifting. See if you can get a little bit higher with each session here, maybe even lifting those hands off the ground. Strong quads, strong glutes, supporting that low back. 3 breath count, not releasing until the third exhale on this one. Lowering back down, and just one more. Lifting up, strong straight legs, peeling the torso off the ground, but strong abdominal engagement to protect the low back all throughout. And on the fourth exhale, with 4 breaths completed up in your pose, you are releasing back down. Good. A little bit more gentle on the low back. We're going to spread the legs, so take a wider stance with the legs. Matching that Y is the arms overhead, so body one big X, lifting the whole body off the ground on an inhale, and one exhale coming right back down. Second time around, same as the last movement pattern. We're going to hold this for one full breath, so you've inhaled up, exhale, inhaling again, and on the second exhale, lowering down. Inhaling up again, strong legs, quads firing, glutes firing, abs engaged to protect the low back. Not till your third exhale are we releasing here. Inhaling up, last round here, 4 full breaths up in this pose. Make it your strongest yet. Reaching up a little bit further before the final 4th exhale, releasing down to the mat. You can rest your head on your hands. Take a couple relaxing breaths. Draw that breath down into the stomach. See if you can use the belly breath pushing against the mat to release the low back. We're going to have you grab your block. We're going to take a restorative bridge pose here, so keep that block nice and close as you make your way onto your back, knees bent, soles of the feet on the ground, arms at your side. And when you're ready, hips are going to go up to the sky. Take whichever side of that block is going to work for you, so you can start low and make an adjustment as needed, but that's going to go right on the connection point of your sacrum and your hips. Definitely keeping the block off of the low back. And you're just relaxing in this pose. Hopefully that pressure feels real good there on the low back. If you care to make an adjustment, you can take a little bit longer side of the block if that feels right for you. And then you're just hanging out for a few more breaths. Push those hips up, slide the block out of the way, release back down to the mat, and give those knees and shins a little squeeze. We're going to be done working the back here, so it's time just to release. So you can inhale, fill that belly with breath, exhale, squeezing it in and releasing once again. Inhale, really deep belly breath as the shins press into the hands, and exhale, squeezing it back in, getting a little bit of release out of your low back. Take it just one more time here. As you exhale, and finally, one last exhale, squeezing it in. Great. Soles of the feet down to the mat. You're going to lift the hips off the ground just a touch. Sorry, we're going to take a little Supta Baddha Konasana as our final pose. If you're familiar with the restorative version and have a yoga bolster, go for that. Otherwise, you're just reclining back, soles of the feet together, letting the knees splay down towards the mat. Arms relaxed at your side. Whatever version works for you, take a few breaths there and simply relax into it. Alright, knees coming back up to center, soles of the feet back on the ground. Here is where we're going to take our final twist. So hips off the ground just a touch, scooch them over to the right. Knees falling over to the left. Arms and head are wherever you're comfortable. It can be out to a T or relaxing at your side. See if you can deepen the breath, drawing it further into the stomach to increase the stretch and increase the release on your side body and low back. Alright, let's release up to center. Hips now scooched up over and to the left as we drop the knees over to the right. Same story here. Arms can be wherever you're comfortable. Just keep deepening those breaths, allowing the breath to deepen the stretch as opposed to any manual manipulation of your legs. Alright, let's bring those knees back up to center. And give those shins one final hug in towards your chest to release the low back and rock it out a little bit, or take care of anything else you would like to do before releasing into final relaxation. Take as long as you would like here in Shavasana. There will be no cue to release you from this final pose.